All right, friends, welcome to We All Got Stories edition, How I Flourished. I am sitting down with the Atiba Rorie. Now, y'all know I think we are our best spokesperson. I believe we do our own introductions, but I definitely want to read accolades so we know just who we are hearing from today. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button and head over to Instagram. Make sure you are following at Friends Who Flourish and Atiba 84.
Friends Who Flourish is a community where entrepreneurs come to grow. We believe that when entrepreneurs have the right resources, support, and connections, not only do they better themselves, but they create opportunities for those around them to grow as well. So it's simple. Give entrepreneurs the tools they need to flourish, and everyone else around them becomes successful too. I urge you to join our community today. Make sure that you like, that you share, and invite someone else to watch the podcast. Check out us on Instagram and on TikTok. Again, we are a community that believes your environment really helps you thrive and flourish. So choosing the people in your community and in that environment matters.
All right, friends, so I am here sitting down with the Atiba Rorie. He is a percussionist, right? An alumnus from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. He also teaches there within the dance school. You're at Guilford College in the School of Music, or was?
I was, yes.
And also WSSU, right?
I was, yes.
Gotcha. So we got Spartans in there. We got Guilford College. We got those Rams. So your ears should perk up and automatically hashtag drop in the comments represent your school. But before being an educator and again a student, you have sat down with masters to learn and to really perfect your craft, right? I'm not going to pretend to understand. We're going to talk about it as we communicate. But, other drummers have let me know you're the real thing. And to sit down and to be with you is a treat. And so I had the amazing opportunity a couple of months ago to kind of experience your mastery in person, right? I went to the Flatiron to hear your band as you are the leader of Africa Unplugged, and immediately it was kind of breathtaking for me. Immediately, without knowing you and your background, I understood the mission and the vision. And so I am honored to have you here. I'm honored to present to you not only educator, but also one who's graced many stages, 2 inaugural celebrations. Look at you. Look at you. You have now definitely elevated Friends Who Flourish. Like you've been all around the world, right? From Ghana to Guinea.
Yes.
And so I'm not going to tell your journey. You're here to do it, but I just wanted everyone to know just who they're about to hear from, the caliber of amazing that you are. So let us know who you are, Atiba.
My name is Atiba Rorie. I am a musician, folklorist, percussionist, all the above. A fan of music in general and how it affects people, moves people, motivates people, changes people, enhances people, all of the things that sound can do. I guess that's how I would put it.
That's all right. So let me know. Let's start the journey. When did you know that music was not just something that you wanted to, spectate, but participate in?
So the best answer to that is I've never not known.
Okay.
So, like, your little kid, people say, I want to be a. All I knew was I love drumming. Okay. I love music, and I am thankful to God because I'm very blessed in the sense to have 2 parents that were not only supportive of it, but allowed me the room to grow in it and make mistakes while doing it, and also fortunate enough that they had the foresight to know who to put me around. That's good. Right? To cultivate these things that I had and allow that process to take place.
That's good.
There were definitely times I had very strict teachers. My main mentor, Bradley Simmons, very strict disciplinarian. And to be honest, there were times when I was young, was like, man, this dude is so hard on me. Like he always made me play the hard parts. I came home complaining to my mom about it.
Yeah.
And my mom said, "So what? You going back tomorrow?"
I know that's right.
Sent me right back. And it's those things that were character building for me that were supported by my parents. And my story kind of starts on a farm in Anson County and a farm in Garner.
Okay.
My mother comes from a farm in Garner. My dad comes from a farm in Anson County. And two arts lovers ended up coming together and got married and have kids. And so now here I am and my sister. I also have an older brother who's into the arts as well, drumming and dancing when he was younger. But my mother is in arts management, nonprofit arts management, and my father is a theater lover. Love live theater, right? But also he played drums in high school in the marching band, and he actually went to A&T for like a year and played in the band there as well. So his love of drums, when he found out about African drums, always around the house were drums. They say that when I was in my mother's womb, when I would be jumping around, my dad would drum, and that would calm me down.
Oh wow!
Yeah, kind of thing. So it's always, I've never not known. I've always been there, and I'm very appreciative because they also were insistent about both sides of the ocean.
Okay.
So as much as I dealt with African drums and African culture, we listened to the Jackson 5 and all of the Black American music as well, so that I could identify both sides of it. And then my mother listened to salsa. She loved salsa. I learned how to salsa dance, standing on her feet in the kitchen, kind of thing, so like it wasn't me, you know what I mean? It wasn't me. It was definitely my parents putting me in a place and exposing me to some things that just stick with me till now. And so that's how I got into music, into drumming specifically. My dad's a drummer. Family loves the arts in general. And that's where we got.
That's good. And I like that you highlighted how, even at moments where you complained about lessons or didn't want to go back, your mom said, oh, well, and she pushed you to continue. I got you. Has there ever been a moment where you felt like you had to choose between one side of the ocean when it came to playing, presenting, or investing in the music?
Good question. To be honest, no, not for me. I've seen other people go through that experience, but because I was cultivated, raised, put around all of these different influences, I never saw a difference. I never saw the separation in a sense, because we lived Africa in my house. We listened to, American music. You know what I'm saying? I had the I'm very fortunate that I was able to live with my grandmother for a while, right? And my grandma was insistent. We go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hearing hymns,
come on,
her
Grandma.
singing them, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff, right? So like, hearing her humming around the house, kind of thing. So me personally, I never saw the separation. Also because a person who's in my bio, but Babatunde Olatunji from Nigeria was, I would say, a very large influence on putting the connection together, because that's kind of what he did with his music.
Okay.
He used Nigerian words, Yoruba words, Caribbean rhythmic structure, Manding instruments, djembe and dunu, you know what I mean, and all kind, and put all of them together. And he sang in English, he sang in Yoruba, so seeing that as a child helped me to not have borders in my mind on what's possible musically.
That's so good. I have a question. I'm going to follow up to that. But speaking of borders, you have lived, right, on the other side of the ocean.
I wouldn't say lived. I visited.
Okay.
I visited and stayed for, long enough.
Okay. How was that? And where?
Wonderful. So, again, shout out to my parents, big time. So my mom sent me with Olatunji for a summer.
Okay.
Went on tour with him. Yes.
Pick me.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How does your moms get to send you with a drum master?
Right.
Just yeah.
It's good. I hear you. Right. What?
Right.
So my father worked with Olatunji as somewhat of like a road driver. My dad loved to drive.
Okay.
Would drive from here to California.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In his younger days. So he was his driver, and my mother being in arts management, nonprofit arts management specifically, she was around all of these cultural artists, and her thing was to help cultural artists and folkloric artists to get funding, essentially, right? To do things and keep this stuff, keep these things alive. And so because of that relationship with Olatunji, that was before me. He's my godfather. Like, he named me. So that relationship was before me. So as a child, I traveled with my dad, with him, wherever they went. And then when I was about 13, my mother sent me with him for the summer. We toured. It was a very beautiful experience. And then we ended up in Africa, in Ghana, for a month, where we studied with the National Ensemble every day at the university there. And then, took some other trips to like Kumasi and whatnot. But again, 13, also being raised with a certain level of independence. My mother also was very certain, like, no, you got to know how to take care of yourself. Like, I got all the way to Africa at 13. I didn't call her for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. I would have lost my mind.
Didn't call her for you know what I'm saying? Like, she had to find me, kind of thing. Like, hey, boy, you all right?
You better flourish.
But I get there and I feel like I'm at home. So like, I got, my mom. Yeah, I have a mom in America, but you my mom. You my mom. You my, Africa is built like that. Mm-hmm. So, being there was amazing, especially being able to go at such a young age. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize the importance of that until I got much older.
Okay.
And speaking to people that like didn't have that experience, to be in Africa, kind of working with master musicians and master dancers. And I also got a chance to watch the national company auditions.
Okay.
Which was very interesting to see people in Africa not understand other people in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
So, we learn about these different ethnic groups and people speak different languages, but it's hard to really understand that concept here, because in America, we're kind of homogenous in the language we speak. Culturally, we're a lot different in how we say the word, but it's not a completely different
There's an
word.
Expectation to have a common language. Yeah. Right.
And so to be in Ghana, seeing specifically, there was a lady there from Ethiopia, and she brought her musicians to show the musicians from Ghana this instruments that they were playing and this music, and they were like, wow, they're fascinated. Like, oh, what is this? And then the same thing, it made me also realize, like, wow, Africa's a big place.
Yeah.
And very diverse. And at a young age, understanding that, it made me feel proud to have some sense of Africa in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And so we are sitting in the midst of Black History Month. And so I think it's an age-old discussion that now, with the advent of social media and new age thinking, you see a lot of people putting foundational Black Americans versus Africans, right? So I think it's refreshing to not only hear you talk about that bridge and being proud and having both and not pitting them, in competition, but also I see it reflective in your music and in your performances. Like, it is a journey. I feel like I start in Africa, right? I get my foundation, my education, terminology, right? That sense of community. And then throughout the course of here, you have the diaspora, right? And you take me through different places that Africans were displaced, right? And then what happened there musically. And so I just had to pause right there and say, I appreciate being able to have a discussion about Africa, African heritage, and African American, and it not be divisive. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you went on the journey with us.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. It is the journey. All right. So we talked a little bit about you being 13, running around in Africa. So let's fast forward to you now starting thinking that you wanted to be a band leader.
So I never wanted to be a band leader.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, never really did, honestly.
So is it wrong to say that you're a band leader now?
No, it's not. You're right, because but like I'm the best side man ever, right? My thing is support the mission, and that's how I was raised.
Okay.
Right? Everybody has a role to play, be a part of a team, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? I think music teaches you that. For sure. And that's something that I learned at a young age.
Shout out to the music teachers.
Yeah, shout out to the music.
Kind of for real, because I don't remember a lot of teachers throughout my primary schooling, but I remember every music teacher.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because it's also something we have to do together. So I had an idea, and it was somewhat based off of my upbringing again, working with my teacher. One of the things that he was insistent about was not showing a homogenous view of Africa in general and the diaspora.
Okay.
Because his generation had to play music of multiple cultures.
Okay.
And so my idea first was to create a concert series called Africa Unplugged, where there would be something traditional from the continent displayed, and then something kind of from the diaspora, and then we put them together at the end of the show. And each one would be different. So it would be like Africa Unplugged, and then Africa Unplugged 2.0, 3.0.
Yeah.
That was the idea. We got the show together, got it organized, did the first one, and people enjoyed it. And they said, well, when is Africa Unplugged playing again? And that's how it started. When is Africa Unplugged playing again? When is Africa Unplugged playing again? I was like, well, I said, we'll play again if y'all gonna come. They said, yeah, we'll come. I was like, all right, well, we'll do it again. And so then it kind of just grew and morphed into a band. And that was about 12 or so years ago now. And it's kind of evolved over time into what it is now.
How did that make you feel? Because if I'm hearing you wanted it to be a concept, right? A continuous evolution, but people just wanted the music. Not to say it's a bad thing or a separation, but I am curious to know, like, what was your response to their demand?
My thing was, as a musician, I am at service to my community. My job is to be there for my community.
Yeah.
When my community needs me to play, I play. Right? And I hope that the community in turn will understand what I need as far as survival.
Come on, yeah.
To, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when they asked, okay, if you, especially, you know, and it was some elders that asked about it too. That's kind of really what did it. Was there were some elders that came. They were like, I really like that. When is Africa Unplugged playing again? So, we kept it going. And I think that really what ended up happening is, the idea was refined by people asking me to do it again.
Okay.
Because that journey that I talked about, something from the continent, something from the diaspora, putting them together. Now we do it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have it in a better package now, to where it's a little bit, just being honest as far as managing in a way, right? Because at that time, the first concert required essentially 2 separate ensembles. You know, 2 separate groups of people to come together and put something together and build it, right? And we know through arts and all funding and, you know what I mean? All that, it's hard to, that would have been, thinking about it now, that would have been something very difficult kind of to keep recreating because it would require so many people. And so now, I guess with the band being somewhat the truncated version of that thing, because what we do is keep exploring. Right, we keep finding genres of Black music from around the world, and we keep adding to it. We keep adding to it, and I think that actually was my concept, was to take Africa and reunite it with the diaspora, and then figure out how to keep that flow and that creativity going. And I just think over time it ended up being what it needed to be.
It is, and just to reset the room. So again, not only being an amazing percussionist, right? But you are the band leader of Africa Unplugged, and it is this amazing experience. If you have not experienced them in person, go and follow Atiba 84 right now to see where they're going to be playing, and then definitely stream and download their music. But I think what came across to me as not first, a creative or a musical person, but your branding and your message, I understand. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand business and storytelling, and someone to not know you at all, just to show up at a venue, to hear you, and to understand what you're doing is not a small feat. People work tirelessly trying to have their elevator pitch, refine their mission, their vision. What are we doing? How do we convey it? I got that showing up and literally in the middle of a song. And I was sold and set and interested, invested, and wanted to tell the world about you. So I just want to let you know that isn't anything small. That's a masterclass in itself. You can teach people across the spectrum, whether they're a creative, an entrepreneur, or just a purpose-driven professional, how to really execute your message concisely. How was that? Was that a struggle? How was that journey? We talked about the evolution and having to truncate it. Right. How was that? Was that any tension, or did it come easy?
It didn't come easy as far as refining it to what you experienced.
Okay.
Right. And that wasn't solely myself.
Okay.
I cannot take full credit for that.
Okay.
That has to do with people being placed in my life at the right time, placed in the band at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Experiences and influences. And then even still going back to my original roots being this melting pot of music already. So like I'm just doing it. I feel like I'm not necessarily even doing something that's new. I'm just doing it my way.
Yeah.
Which is new. Right? Because it's not something that I've seen something like this before. I've seen, people be taken on this journey through these instruments to various places, in a concert setting. I've seen it. So this is kind of just my way of doing it. And I feel like what I try to do is reach a little bit further in each direction. You know what I mean? As advancement of each generation, I try to go a little bit further into the traditional aspects when we're going to be traditional, and the people that understand the tradition can see it and recognize it.
Yeah.
And then I try to go a little bit further into the other aspects and figuring out how to put all of that in one song. Honestly came from just listening to music.
Yeah.
And thinking about, making a good song, right? Like, okay, how do we in this structure, how do we make a good song? And then, okay, we fit these things with it, or, come with this idea or that idea. But that's kind of, for me, I think how I have put it together.
You do it well.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, you do it. I feel like I am in a time machine and a spaceship at the same time. And then sometimes we also park in the present. Like, you do it well. Talk about, is that burdensome? Being, paying homage to the past, but also being creative for the future and being present in the
now. That's a great question. Burdensome? No, I wouldn't say burdensome. I do feel a massive amount of responsibility, right? And that responsibility goes beyond the band for me. I feel a responsibility to uphold what I've been taught, the way I was taught it, and what it is, right? Because tradition evolves, but it doesn't change, right? So maintaining that, and also being able to put on display the versatility of tradition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, every piece of art comes from folk at some point. It all starts there, because art is supposed to serve the people, right? So starting with that in mind, you know, it's a more so a responsibility, not necessarily. I wouldn't call it a burden, but making sure that the tradition is acknowledged by also saying, like, you know, I'm born and raised in America. There's no way you could expect me to only present something other than you know where I'm from. Now there are times where if we need to do that, then that's what we do, right? If this is a traditional situation, boom, we're going to make it a traditional situation. But the band is the exploration of kind of like Sun Ra. You know what I mean? Like this thing from the past that we know, but let's take it to the stars and to the future and make it advanced as we can. Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna affirm you one more time that you need it. You do it.
Thank you.
You do it. As someone who is a novice to you and to Africa Unplugged, without having this conversation, I felt everything that you're saying is your mission.
I'm glad. That means a lot to me, honestly. I really do appreciate it, because that's my goal, is to kind of ignite something in Black people that know that we got something.
Yeah.
You know,
something special.
We got something, and it's okay to share that with the world. You know, but also we still got to own it. That is ours. You know, we still got to own it, that it's ours, but it's totally okay to share that with the world.
Yeah. Own it and take care of it. And so with that, I want to pivot to the other side of the brain and talk about the business, because you said something that stuck out to me. You kind of continued, and Africa Unplugged, the band was created because it was a demand from the community, but it also, there's an understanding of to be reciprocated. The community needs to take care of you, right? We had a conversation behind the scenes that, you know, creatives, sometimes, you know, you can focus on the talent, but you are a business, right? Depending upon how and what you want to do with your talent, right? The community, how can we take care of you, or how can the community take care of musicians when it comes to being business minded, right? Whether that's in education, that's in teaching, that's in the conversations we're having when we are coming to you like, hey, we want you to do this program or show up here. Like, yeah, talk to the community, and I got your back.
Okay. Well, hey, community, y'all see me, community, y'all see me.
I got your back.
We need help.
Yeah.
We need CPAs.
Yeah.
We need tax consultants.
Yeah.
We need management.
Yeah.
We need people that know how to do emails and whatnots. You see me? Look at me good. I'm telling you. Hit me up. But no, so
well, look, wait a minute. Like Friends Who Flourish, we can help you.
Please do. Yes. I'm with it.
But for real, because it is, I believe in reciprocity. Everything you're speaking about community is why I started Friends Who Flourish. Like, it has to be a mutually beneficial relationship and dynamic. I understand there's ebbs and flows. I can take when you're 20 and I have to give you 80, but I can't do 80 100% of the time and you're 20. It doesn't work. So, yeah.
So I think multiple ways that there are things that can be done. So, okay, I'll put it this way. For me, musicians are taught music, and especially when in the Black community, you got to sound good.
Yeah.
So I spend my time trying to sound good and play good, and you know, and learn the music and be on time to this place and these things, right? What we don't often get is the business knowledge that sometimes comes as a base level for other communities, and the business knowledge opportunities. Yes, they are available, right? They are available in the sense of everybody can go to the library, but everybody don't learn like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially for us as Black people, we come from descendants of oral tradition.
Yeah.
We come from descendants of oral tradition. So for some of us, it's important that if somebody has that time, also you feel encouraged when somebody is willing to share some knowledge with you. You know what I mean? It encourages you to okay, well, I'm glad you showed me that. Thank you. Let me show you now when I come back what I did with the knowledge you gave me.
Yeah.
That book can't talk to me in that way.
Yeah.
Right? Also, that book worked for the person who wrote it. You know, at the time that they wrote it.
Right.
You know, it could have been 10 years ago. We know how quickly, you know, just with the invent of how quickly Instagram changes,
Mm-hmm.
right? How to get on that algorithm,
right?
How to have this, what do they call it? Whatever. When people click on the thing, I don't know the words, but y'all know. But you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
See what I'm saying? You see people, you see.
I got you.
But
no.
you know, like, and as I went to university for music, for classical European percussion.
Okay.
I had one class that was supposed to teach me how to be a professional musician. That was not taught to me by someone who was a professional musician at any point in their life.
Okay.
Right. So, how am I supposed to have the skills then, right? To, and we're talking about a place where not knowing certain information can be very troublesome if you don't know how to deal with your taxes.
It can be dangerous. Yes.
If you know what I mean, if you don't know how to deal with contracts, think about how many artists get taken advantage of.
Thank you.
Because you're given a 40-page contract with legal words that I have to pay somebody $100 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you hope that they're translating and telling you the truth and not signing your soul away.
So those things in our community in general are just difficulties, especially for all artists that I know of, right? It's a real thing. So, I think that the business part of it is important because it allows the artist to develop the art, right? Like it's hard to have a quote unquote full-time job or something and then put in the time to practice and develop and or the energy to create. Yeah. You know what I mean? It takes that energy away from you to be creative. And some people's creative hours are the times they got to hit that time clock. Yeah. Maybe that's when your brain has the creative function, but you can't even use it. You can't tap into it because you got to be somewhere else doing something else. And it the possibility for you to do your thing is there, but the business part is not set up for culture also, right? The business is not set up for culture. And one of the great examples that I have seen of the culture surviving the business is gospel. Okay. Because gospel culture has a lot of it has survived the music industry in a way that the messaging didn't change. Okay. The industry didn't change the messaging. It did change the presentation. Right. For sure. Right. Right? The presentation changed. Right. But the messaging at the end of the day is still there.
Ain't it good?
All the time.
No, I think that's a good point. As a band leader, how are you doing both?
Struggling.
That's real.
Struggling. I have a good buddy who has decided to be helpful. Okay. And he's done a lot for us. He has a management company, FTMF Talent. Y'all looked him up, FTMF Talent. And he helps a lot with booking and making some types of management decisions. Also, I'm thankful, that there are people that I've been able to sit down and have conversations with that have helped me a lot. Mainly, it's also a thing of like, until you're at a certain place, you can't get certain things. And it takes a long time sometimes to get to that place, to be able to get certain things. And you feel like, you keep bumping your head against the ceiling, you know what I mean? But there's somebody upstairs, you hope that one of them will open the door kind of thing. And that if you keep knocking, somebody gonna answer, right? At a certain point. So I'm grateful for that part, and for people just being honest with me, like, hey man, you gotta learn this, a little bit of it. Yeah. You need to learn at least enough to know that somebody's not taking advantage of you when they do it. Right. And I think that part is important. You don't have to know how the cake is made, but you need to know what the ingredients supposed to do together. That part. Yeah. So that has been quite helpful for me.
Well, let me encourage you, friend. I believe in divine timing and divine connection. So definitely speak on you that when the time comes, you will be connected and have everything that you need to go the next step. For real. And I really appreciate sitting down talking to you because I think you get it. I think sometimes when the words fail me in trying to describe what Friends Who Flourish is or what I want it to be, you understand community. Like you really do. Community is important to me. Community has my back when I don't know where to go, has my back where I don't want to stand up and continue, encourages me. So I really hear that. I see that you move in that way. So I really appreciate you letting me just for a little bit pull you into my community. I hope that you stay.
I will be here. I'm here. I'm in here. We made it.
Yeah. Before we go, shout out the band. Let us know where we can see you, hear you. What's next on the horizon for you?
Okay. Well, currently we have a single out, "Dear Mr. President." Like President with a Z. Go check that out. We will be playing at the North Carolina Rice Festival.
Okay.
On what is that? March the 7th.
Oh, soon.
Yes, soon. And we're back in Greensboro in April playing for the Strange Fruit Festival.
Yeah. My niece is singing. Shout out to Christian. She is singing there. Okay.
Really? Okay. See, small world. So Strange Fruit Fest.
Community.
Yeah. Right. You never know the connections. So we'll be there. But also, folks can check out the website, africaunpluggedmusic.com. Subscribe on the bottom. And then you'll see where we are. We have a page there that tells you when our next shows are coming up.
Gotcha. So you heard Africa Unplugged. Go and connect, support, show up. You do not want to miss it. Again, I saw you one time, and now I want to have like a fan page for you and be the president because it really is amazing. And then just sitting down, getting to know just a little bit of you. Like you really are like, you are an amazing person.
You are too. Thank you for sharing me with your audience. Yeah. I really appreciate it. This is awesome.
This is cool.
Yes.
All right. Well, I thank you. Remember, go to Instagram and follow at Atiba84 and at Friends Who Flourish. Make sure you are going to stream the music, download it, and follow. Make sure I see you at their next performance.
Every entrepreneur has a story, a risk that they took, a lesson that changed everything, and a setback that helped shape your success. At Friends Who Flourish, I believe that it isn't just about what you build, but who you become along the way, and that's the story I'm interested in. That's why I created We All Got Stories edition, How I Flourished, where I sit down with entrepreneurs, creatives, and purpose-driven professionals to uncover who they are, what they do, their why, and more importantly, the story of the journey. I believe when we share our stories, we build community. We learn that we are not alone. We have language for our struggles, and hard lessons may be learned a little easier. So I invite all of our entrepreneurs, creatives, and purpose-driven professionals to submit your story today. I would love to have you as a guest on the podcast. If you are not local, no worries. I would love to read your story online. You never know. Your story could be the start of someone's, or could be the encouragement one needs to continue on their journey. So to be a guest, submit your story to friendswhoflourish@gmail.com. I would love to hear your story, your journey, and to amplify the business that you're creating. As always, I am grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Let's continue to flourish.